Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. The first semi-final of the 1979 Cricket World Cup in Sri Lanka was played today. It was England versus New Zealand at Colombo. Two evenly matched sides. England had won every single match in the tournament, whereas the New Zealand bowlers had bowled magnificently in difficult conditions in Sri Lanka to get to their second consecutive semi-final. Whoever won this would play in their first ever World Cup final. This was the outcome of what was an enthralling game of cricket. This is the final outcome. England won the toss on a hard pitch and elected to bat first. They didn't bat unbelievably well, but they hit 221 for 8 from their 50 overs. Both the star batsmen in... Looks a bit blurry. Let's see whether it's improved. Yep. No, it's the same actually. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have done that. Let's just double check that. Let's see. That's a little better. It's even worse, isn't it? Yeah, I'll fucking fuck this up. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Sorry, it just seems a little bit blurry, but hopefully you can see this quite well. Both star players, Mike Brearley and Graham Gooch, got their way back into form. It got off to a bit of a frustrating start at one stage, but in the end, 2 for Geoffrey Boycott. Wayne Larkins, his first appearance of the tournament, was out for 7. Good partnership between partnership of nearly 58 for the third wicket, 53 off 90 deliveries for Mike Brearley's second 50 of the tournament, and a third 50 of the tournament for Graham Gooch, 75 of 97 deliveries, 1 for David Gower, Ian Botham, 7, a duck for Chris Hold, 12 for Bob Taylor, 1 not out for Bob Willis, not out. But Derek Randall will be batting at number 3 in the tournament. He's been in absolute woeful form. He was put down at number 70, 42 not out of 36 deliveries, as England made 221 for 8. As you can see, they were 178 for 7, and they sort of hit a few runs in the final 10 overs. They hit nearly 50. Sorry, I'm really struggling in this one. 43 runs came off the final 10 overs, so they got to 221 for 8. New Zealand bowlers was terrific. 1 for 47 for Jeremy Coney, 1 for 32 for Richard Hadley, 1 for 47 for Lance Kearns, Gary Troop 38 for 1, but Brian McKechnie 3 for 46, the star bowler for New Zealand, bowled fantastically well. New Zealand gave as good as they got. It was an absolute wonderful effort and a wonderful match. 17 for John Wright. A first 50 of the tournament for returning Bruce Edgar. He was given another chance. 69 off 88 deliveries. Then he played a pull shot and was caught by Ian Botham from Bob Willis. 7 for the captain. 7 for for Glenn Howarth. Was it Glenn Howarth or Jeff Howarth? I think it was Jeff Howarth. Sorry, I'm really struggling in this thing. It's frustrating when this happens. I'm surprised that I ain't swearing quite a lot in this. Was it Jeff Howarth? Wait, I don't have the paper. Sorry, it is Jeff Howarth for 7. Remember, this is all advertised or whatever. I don't know what I'm even saying anymore. I give up. I'll just stop the video. No, I ain't going to stop the video. 11 for Jeremy Coney, 30 for Glenn Turner. Once he got out at 162 for 6, the game was up exactly as what happened against West Indies. England just squeezed them like the West Indies did against New Zealand in the group stage. 10 for the captain, Mike Burgess, 15 for Richard Hadley, 22 for Warren Lees, 4 for Lance Kearns, 14 not out for Brian McKechnie, and a duck for Gary Troop. A duck for Gary Troop. 208 all out in 49.4 overs. 49.4 overs, 2 balls remaining. 1 for 21, he did it again. 1 for 21, 1 for 24, sorry, for Geoffrey Boycott. He bowled 1 over and went for 8 runs. Graham Gooch, we bowled a couple of overs and went for 8 runs. Graham Gooch. 1 for 42 for Ian Botham, 2 for 33 for Chris Old, 2 for 41 for why's my friend really misbehaving in this video? 2 for 41 for Bob Willis, and 4 for 52 for Mike Hendrick. His fourth wicket haul in this tournament. He got 4 wickets against Sri Lanka, 4 against Pakistan, and now he's got 4 in a World Cup semi-final against. He's got 4 in a World Cup semi-final against New Zealand. A really, really good performance again. He's now the joint leading wicket taker alongside Alan Hurst with 19 wickets. He's got it in 7 matches. Alan Hurst got his 19 wickets in 6 matches, and he's just 1 wicket away from setting a new World Cup record for most wickets in a tournament, and he has a chance of doing that in the World Cup final as well. So the final summary here: England versus New Zealand at Colombo in the first semi-final. England won the toss at a hard pitch to the bat. They made 221 for 8 from their 50 overs. And eventually they bowled New Zealand out for 208, winning an absolute cracking match by 13 runs. A wonderful semi-final. And Mike Hendrick, man of the match, with 4 for 52 off 9.3. Let's just double check it was 4 for 52 off 9.3 overs, wasn't it? Just like to make sure, because I make a load of mistakes like I've done in this video. It's probably the worst video I've done in terms of mistakes being made and brain freezes. Man of the match, 4 for 52 off his 9.4 overs, Mike Hendrick. His 3rd man of the match performance and his 3rd 4-wicket haul of the tournament. 19 wickets in 7 matches, as you'll see in a moment. Certainly, definitely a leading contender for player of the tournament here in Sri Lanka. This is what it means. England are through to their first ever World Cup final, where they'll either play Pakistan or the West Indies. That's going to be an absolute thrilling contest tomorrow. You feel Pakistan have played brilliantly throughout this World Cup, whereas the West Indies have been, as world champions, absolutely irresistible. We're going to have a look at the star players. They all had pretty decent games so far in this match. All improved their performances. Not a bad way for a semi-final for the star players to actually really, really make their mark. Let's take a look at the England players. Average gone back up into the 30s now. Now for the captain Mike Brearley, 219 runs in 7 matches, an average of 7. In 7 matches, an average of 31. Not a great average, but that was his 2nd 50 of the competition there. A 3rd 50 of the competition for Graham Gooch. 269 runs in 7 matches, an average of 44. So his average has gone into the 40s. 16 wickets in 7 matches for Chris Old. At an average of 11. 13 wickets in 7 matches now for Bob Willis at an average of 16. He's averaged 25 in the tournament. Chris Old averaging 1 with a bat, by the way. Forgot to mention that we're playing in stretch of that. 13 wickets in the tournament for Bob Willis at an average of 16. I'll tell you what though, just before I move on to Mike Hendrick, Bob Willis got 1 off the final ball of the innings, or got 1 off 1 ball, and it looks like he damaged his shoulder. He was holding his shoulder throughout the innings. He didn't come on until the 20th over, and he obviously took 2 for 41. But it looks like he may have done some damage to his shoulder, so he is a definite massive threat. He's definitely a massive doubt for the World Cup final on Sunday. So it could well be he may have bowled his final match in this tournament. Hendrick, as said before, 19 wickets in 7 matches at an average of 9. What an average in this tournament. He's 1 wicket away from setting a new World Cup record for most wickets in the tournament. 19 wickets in 7 games. Absolutely extraordinary, and definitely a main contender for player of the tournament here. As for the New Zealanders, well, a better average now. 185 runs in 5 innings for Bruce Edgar. His average went up to 37, so his last 2 innings have seen him get 121 runs. But overall, he hasn't had the best of tournaments. 11 wickets in 7 matches for Brian McKechnie, an average of 18 and average 26 with a bat. But 26 was 2 not outs. So that's it for the statistics. Mike Hendrick definitely on form in this tournament. 4 wickets, his 3rd 4-wicket haul of the tournament, and his 3rd player of the match award in this tournament. He's definitely a league contender for player of the tournament, which will be announced after the World Cup final finishes on Sunday. It's been an absolute Tremendous match here. England winning by 13 runs. But Bob Willis is a definite doubt for the World Cup final with that shoulder injury of his. He damaged his shoulder whilst hitting. He tried to whack the ball and he only went for one run. It looked like he did damage to his shoulder. It didn't look it at the time, but he was holding his shoulder throughout the innings. He didn't come on to the 20th over. Mike really said didn't actually want to bowl him. He insisted on that he get treatment, but Bob would say, no, I'm not getting treatment. Let's see how it goes. And because New Zealand started off so well, he came on in 20th over. He bowled his full 10 overs, but he was holding his shoulder throughout. So he's a massive doubt for the World Cup final on Sunday. So England are through to their first ever World Cup final. Tomorrow's match, Pakistan versus West Indies to decide who England will play. It promises to be a tremendous match tomorrow. Until then, this has been Lawrence Howard here in Sri Lanka reporting on the 1975 Cricket World Cup being played on Brian Lara Cricket and PlayStation. Until tomorrow's match against Pakistan versus West Indies, it's bye-bye from me.